Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. Today I got a story about Star Wars and posting a bizarre tweet in the middle of the night about Obi-Wan Kenobi actress Moses Ingram and racism. So let's get to this. I wrote this article earlier today. As you can see here, the title is Star Wars Makes Bizarre Late Night Tweet About Racism and Obi-Wan Kenobi Actress Moses Ingram. And indeed, it is extremely bizarre. It is an absolutely bizarre tweet. So the official Star Wars Twitter account made a couple of bizarre late night tweets regarding Obi-Wan Kenobi actress Moses Ingram, where they informed fans they would resist if anyone intends to make her feel unwelcome and instructed their followers to not be racists. Before we get to her tweets, we're going to provide a little bit of context because Moses Ingram actually talked about possibly be receiving racist online abuse in an interview with The Independent before the show even debuted on Disney Plus last week. So she spoke with The Independent where she revealed that Lucasfilm trained her to deal with, quote, racist online abuse towards her for simply playing the Inquisitor Reva in their Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show. Ingram told The Independent it was something that Lucasfilm actually got in front of and said, this is a thing that unfortunately likely will happen, but we are here to help you. You can let us know when it happens. So clearly Star Wars was calling their fans racist here and then predicting that their own fans would be somehow going after Moses Ingram with racist comments, despite that just being that claim being absolutely bizarre and weird as well, given the fact that there have been lots of black people have played characters in Star Wars and played black characters and all other kinds of different species and races and all kinds of different Star Wars characters, and no one has any problems with those characters. But Ingram continues saying she noted that the show's director, Deborah Chow, and others in Lucasfilm were putting the proper systems in place, so I feel safe as we do the work. Of course, there are always pockets of hate, but I have no problem with the block button. So she didn't really seem fazed that she would be receiving any of this supposed racist comments, online abuse. If she was just going to block it. But now, the official Star Wars account tweeted this. We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say. We resist. I don't know, I guess they're trying to make a pun off of or they're trying to make a reference to their Rogue One movie where they had that tagline was like, I rebel or whatever. So it's very odd. I don't know. What are you resisting? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would anyone be trying to make her feel unwelcome in Star Wars anyways? It just is very odd. I mean, I don't know. It's just very strange tweet. But then it got even more bizarre. So in a subsequent tweet, they added, there are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. So again, this is another like bizarre tweets. Like, are you telling people who are cosplaying Star Wars characters to not be a racist? Because I'm pretty sure there probably are racists in the Star Wars galaxy that are characters. There are, I would argue, the Sith probably are that way, especially if you played Star Wars: The Old Republic. The actual Sith race are very racist. They think everyone else is below them, and they are that. So this is kind of another weird tweet. Doesn't really make any sense. It's just a jumble of words where they're trying to like virtue signal, but if you actually examine it in any kind of capacity, it just kind of falls apart and like just reads like gibberish, which isn't surprising coming from Star Wars, because that's pretty much what most of their television shows and movies have been since Disney took over. It's been a lot of gibberish and a lot of stuff that doesn't really make any sense when you actually think about it for less than a second. But it doesn't really come as a surprise that they would do this. Obviously, Ingram was signaling that this was going to happen, and we've kind of seen this before, where they put out this stuff in order to try and cover for their own bad TV shows, their own bad films. We've seen them engage in kind of sick behavior, which we'll get to, where they kind of minimized Finn on the Chinese cover or Chinese poster for The Force Awakens, John Boyega's character, for seemingly because this idea that Chinese people aren't fans of of black people. But if you recall, Star Wars and Lucasfilm have actually endorsed racist behavior, and they continue to employ people who exhibit this behavior and are actual racists. Notably, Christina Ariel, who hosted Star Wars Celebration over the weekend, made it very clear she's a racist in dozens of tweets over the past years. I included just 3 here in this article. In March 2020, she wrote, "White people effing stop it. Your racism won't save you. Your ignorance is not an excuse." In May 2020, she responded to Scott Baio and wrote, "White conservatives, please stop invoking racism like you give a crap. You don't. You just want to be able to say, what about when someone calls out 45 and his blatant racism, referring to Donald Trump." And then here in June 2020, she wrote, "Just a reminder that white women are just as complicit in the upholding and enforcing white supremacy." So she's clearly being racist towards white people, using white as a pejorative, and kind of being very prejudiced against people who are white. That is racist, and that's what Christina Ariel is. And she made that abundantly clear in 2020 and the past couple years since. So in response to her racism, Star Wars actually endorsed it. They wrote, "Our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We do not stand for bullying and racism. We support Christina Ariel." So they say they don't stand for it, but then they go on and say they support her, which she clearly is putting out a lot of racism on Twitter, which I can only interpret as that they have no idea what they're talking about, and they actually are supporting her racist behavior. Because if you're actually if you did actually stand, do not stand for bullying and racism, you wouldn't be supporting her. It doesn't really make any sense. She actually probably would have been fired, but that's another point. But yeah, this is kind of what I was talking about here. We're talking about Finn. If you remember, they did make him a lot smaller on the Force Awakens poster in China. YouTuber Nerdrotic pointed this out in response to their tweet. He says, "Look for a lot of these to be dropped," and then describes Star Wars as hypocrites, which is exactly what they are. They are hypocrites. But it doesn't matter. They don't care that they're hypocrites because they think that they are in the right no matter what, because it's all about how they can gain power, gain favor in this moment. So they will be doing that stuff no matter what for this moment. And that's why they're doing this, because they're trying to protect their absolutely horrible product in Obi-Wan and trying to hide behind Moses Ingram and claiming that fans are being racist without actually providing any evidence whatsoever. Whereas, like, I can actually provide evidence of Christina Ariel being racist, where Star Wars cannot do the same for Moses Ingram, or at least I doubt they can. This is the same thing with Rick Riordan and Percy Jackson that we were just covering a couple weeks ago. But if you also remember, the Star Wars' parent company now, the Walt Disney Company, actually congratulated the Chinese government that actually enslaves Uyghurs. You want to talk about racism? They're literally congratulating a foreign government that has slave labor and profits off of it. So kind of sick stuff there coming from Disney, but again, they don't really want you to know about that or want you to talk about that or realize that they're actually scum and they engage in this kind of sick behavior all the time because they want to try and convince you, gaslight you to believing that they're somehow just and righteous when in fact it's the complete and utter opposite. So, and then here, like the whole idea, if you want to get back to this idea that Star Wars fans are somehow racist and have been racist, and to expect racist behavior from Star Wars fans, it just doesn't make any sense if you actually look at Star Wars and from the very beginning and even through today. I mean, this franchise has gone on for decades, and you have lots of different characters: Lando Calrissian, Moff Gideon, Greef Karga, Mace Windu, Rosario Dawson just recently played Ahsoka Tano. You have Fennec Shand. There's like so many like quote unquote diverse, if you want to use their rules, just looking at skin color. And people like these characters, and I mean, they might have criticisms against them, but they're not being like hateful, nasty towards them, unlike Lucasfilm, who literally fired Gina Carano for warning about hate. And I think that really tells you where Lucasfilm is. If you just compare their response to Gina Carano and their response to Moses Ingram. Gina Carano is warning about hate. Moses Ingram is saying that Lucasfilm is warning her about people being racist to her. And now they're trying to claim that their fans are all racist. And then they fire Gina Carano. And they're going and kind of defending Moses Ingram for something she hasn't even claimed to have said. At least I haven't seen her claim anything. But I think that's really telling. right there, just how they treat the two different actors and how they reacted to those two separate situations. And again, I don't think anything is going to be changed. This company is still run by Kathleen Kennedy. It's still overseen by Bob Chapek. We know they are pushing absolutely abhorrent things when it comes to gender ideology and sexual orientation. They're actively trying to groom young children. They're funding organizations like Glisten, which are trying to promote disordered behavior and disordered school lessons for children in kindergarten, in elementary school. It's just absolutely sick stuff. So for them putting up this stuff, it's just kind of part and parcel of who they are now. And don't expect them to get any better, because they are run by immoral, corrupt, honestly, people who do a lot of bad things. Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Chapek, and they're the ones greenlighting this stuff and approving it. So one has to, if you're approving this stuff, you're putting it in your show, one has to assume that you do approve of it, right? So let me know what you think. My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounding into Comics.